So let's talk about the most popular anime this season, Jujutsu Kaisen. So Jujutsu Kaisen is brought to you by one of our favorite studios, Mappa Studios, which has worked on anime like Hajime Ippo, am I saying that right? Hajime Ippo. Yeah, I think I am. Kakagiri, Dodoro, and the final season of Attack on Titans. And you could also throw Yuri on Ice in there. But I say all that to say, I'm glad that we got a studio that knows how to do an anime right. And I'm not saying other studios don't. I'm just saying Mappa really did good on this one, because Jujutsu Kaisen was a series that I started reading the manga for, and I instantly fell in love with it. And I'm glad that Mappa Studios actually knows how to portray what's going on correctly when it comes to fight scenes and when it comes to powers and all of that. Like, I was pleasantly surprised and shocked even when I first saw the fight between Gojo and Sukuna. And in the words of Afro Senju, I was like, "Nigga, excuse me, who animated this shit, God?" It was crazy. It made me feel as if I was reading the manga, but just in anime form. Well, that's exactly what I was doing, but it was such a good one-to-one that it just felt perfect. And I'm really glad on how the series is going out so far. And currently where we are now in the series, we're up to episode 6, and I'd say I'm pleasantly surprised at pacing, voice actors, animation, just everything has gone so well with this series. I feel like this could be one of those legendary series. And not to mention, ever since Jujutsu Kaisen's release, they've actually started hitting records in sales, and they're up 233% as of right now, with over 10 million copies in circulation. And that's crazy. If this keeps up, we could see it potentially outsell Demon Slayer. I think within the first quarter that's already in, it has outsold Demon Slayer, but it's definitely crushing a lot of the competition right now in sales, and I just find that crazy. And I'm curious to see how much of this we actually get adapted into the anime, like what season 1 will cover, because right now the pacing, it's not extremely fast, it's extremely good. Like, I didn't expect to see where we are in episode 7. Episode 7 drops later on in the week, and I was surprised to see we're already this far and in this short amount of time. And I know it's how the manga goes. So right now we're at episode 7, and that's around chapter 12 to 13 in the manga, and I think that's actually pretty good pacing. Like, everything's fluent. It's not like they're missing out on anything, and the way that they're portraying the characters and animating them is just perfect. Like, I love Sukuna's character. I love how he has the swag, or like the, how do you say it, not God's complex, but that I'm better than you complex, just like how he did in the manga. And I think his movements and the way he moves is perfect. Just like when he was fighting Megumi, the animation was so fluid, and the way he moved, how he was fighting with his hands in his pocket, it really took me back to when I was reading the manga. And I think this series is gonna hook a lot of people on early on, just because of how the fights are so early on, like the good fights. Like, we have pretty good fights early on to the series, and I think fights are what usually make people stay. Like, one of my friends was watching the series, and he said within the half of the first episode, I was already liking this series. Like, I like this series a lot. But I do know some people who say, the first episode was kind of slow. But me personally, maybe it's because I've already read the series, I think that the pacing's amazing, and I think that it will hook people early on, like really early on. Like, if you watch episode 2 and you see the fight versus Gojo and Sukuna, and you're not like, oh, I'm watching more of this, if you don't understand the animation that's going on and the choreography, you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot, actually, because this is going to be one of those series that people talk about for years to come. And I'm not surprised that the series is getting this much attraction and this much hype, because I remember when the manga first started releasing, I think it was in 2018, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was in 2018. When that first started releasing, it was all over Twitter, and a lot of people knew about this. Like, I've been waiting for this series to come out for the longest time. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I genuinely did not feel like 2020 was such a good year for anime, but after seeing Jujutsu Kaisen come out, it was like, okay, this kind of saved it for me, because I was expecting so much in 2020 for anime. I was telling all my friends it was gonna be a good year, it's gonna be a really good year for anime, but then a lot of stuff got pushed back. So now we have to wait till 2021 to get all these good series, but I feel like end of 2020 going into 2021 is going to be a really good year for anime. And you can quote me on that, because we're going to get stuff like The Promised Neverland, Attack on Titans, Dr. Stone, That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime, Shield Hero. So we got a lot of good series coming out 2021, and I can't wait to cover all of those also. But there's something else that I wanted to touch on and talk about, which I'm probably going to be making videos on in the future, is just the Jujutsu Kaisen power system and how it's unique. It kind of reminded me of a Hunter x Hunter type of power system in a way, just because of how complex and not understandable that the power system can get in Jujutsu Kaisen. We'll find that out a little more in the future. Those of you who have read the manga know exactly what I'm talking about when we get into Red and Blue and just Gojo's whole power and just the way that it's so unique. It's really one thing that I like about the series, just like how I mentioned before, Hunter x Hunter. And one thing that I really like about the power system in it is how unique it is. It's one of the most unique power systems that I've seen in anime, where sometimes it gets kind of confusing and we still don't know a lot about it, especially with characters like Gojo, and I can't wait to do videos on him. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of simp for the dude. He is one of my favorite characters in anime. Like, Aizen has always been like here, but he's like here. Like, he's almost over Aizen. I'd say yeah, he's over Aizen, just because I like his swag. I like how cool he is, and especially what we're gonna see in episode 7 and 8. You guys will understand what I'm saying, and I'll make sure to do a video on his power when we actually figure out what it is and we get a little more into it. I want to do whole character analyst videos on each one of the 4 main characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. So if you guys want to see anything like that, let me know. Oh, and I did want to mention, I do apologize for the lack of uploads. For those of you who can see, I'm not in my usual setup. I'm in the middle of a move, which has been a pretty long move, and I recently took a trip to New Mexico. So that's kind of why I've been slacking on the uploading a little bit, but I am trying to work on a schedule where I upload every Thursday or every Wednesday. So it's gonna get a little more consistent, and then I'll go back to my old schedule when I finally move into a place where it was uploading a video every 3 days. So we'll go back into doing that. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and all of you who stuck around, and all the new subscribers. Hopefully you guys like this video, and if you're not already, make sure to subscribe, because you've already made it this far into the video. Why not? So with all that being said, I want you guys to have a good day or night wherever you are in the world, and peace.